about CE5 and extraterrestrial contact, download my new book, now on Amazon, Barnes & Noble, Apple, and 14 other platforms. Book authored by Donald Ledesma. CE5, Frequencies of Contact.
Alien Strand Podcast.
Do you believe in aliens or UFOs?
I do now. I definitely do now.
I believe in it now because I've seen it and I know what I saw.
I call it ultrasonic manufacturing, where if you imagine going beyond the speed of light, the speed of electrons, beyond the 0 point energy field, and creating sort of a architectural blueprint of a spacecraft that's in that dimension, like an astral, like your astral body, and have that resonate, and it comes into this dimension.
From ET Connections on YouTube and mountain-gate.com.
And you're listening to the Alien Strand Podcast with Donald Ledesma.
Catch us on YouTube and hit like and subscribe. We'll see you there.
Hi, everybody. Welcome to this episode of Alien Strand Podcast. I'm your host, Donald Ledesma, and welcome to today's show. Yep. It's a new year. Happy 2025. Yeah, that's what it's about. It's about celebrating the new year and hopefully some good things to come, right? And we've been having a lot of UFOs, UAPs, a lot of different stuff happening up in the skies and underground, right? So we've been just catching a lot of different things. Hopefully, you guys have been catching all my past podcasts that I've been throwing out there. A couple of live ones, as today is going to be a live one as well. It's a pre-recorded. It's very short, not very long, but, I hope you guys enjoy it. I didn't give it the justice that I wanted to, so I'm going to go back to this segment, actually, and I'm going to go back and do it right, really, in reality. So I was just kind of introducing Dorothy Izatt and the things that she was doing back in the 1970s, 80s, and 90s, even the 2000s, right? So they made a documentary about her as well. And, I wanted to bring this story to the forefront because it grabbed my attention. I know she's been out there for a little bit. Maybe a lot of you guys have heard of her. I didn't, and that was kind of strange that, I'm all over the place and I didn't know who she was. But it's okay. I was able to learn from her documentary. Of course, she passed away, I believe, in 2021. And that's an unfortunate thing because I wish I could have had a chance to talk to her, but her daughter does have a Facebook page out there called, I think it's The Real Dorothy Izatt, something like that, Izatt. So might want to go, I don't know if I'm pronouncing that right, but I'm going to call it either way. Maybe one of those has got to be right? So anyway, I hope you guys are listening to us on 26, 28 platforms. You can even ask Alexa to play some Alien Strand podcast, and she will give you all. Go to alienstrand.com, right? You can actually catch the podcast there. All the new films are out. So now The Middle Two is now streaming for free on Fawsome TV on Roku. So if you download the Roku Fawsome app, FAWESOME, Fawsome TV app, you can watch The Middle Part 1 and Part 2 for free. It's got commercials, give and take. It's okay, but you'll hear me probably say that again because I'm gonna throw out the live recording that we did about 3 days ago. Okay, so this is right before New Year's, and I decided to throw out her story a little bit out there, and it was if you want to watch the video to this, just go to our YouTube. All I ask is hit a like, subscribe there if you can, and the video to this actual podcast is there. So you can actually watch the pictures, see the pictures that I have when I'm talking about it. And but if you can't, that's okay right now. If you're driving, that's okay. Stay safe, be on the road. If you see something in the sky, pull over where it's safe to do so. Get out of the vehicle where it's a safe area. Take your videos, photos, however you're going to do it. Don't do it from inside the car because we're going to get smears, smudges, and we're going to get the reflection from the dashboard, especially at night. People always think those are UAPs, UFOs, whatever you want to call them. And it's easier for us to analyze if you're taking video and footage outside of the vehicle or outside the house. Okay, so let's go ahead and do that. But anyway, without further ado, let me go ahead and throw this on. This was a previously recorded podcast that we did live on actual YouTube, Rumble, and on Twitch. All right, so it wasn't able to go on Facebook, but it's okay. You can still find it on YouTube. All right, so here we go. Let's go ahead and throw this on now. Hope you guys enjoy this. Give me a thumbs up after this podcast is over. If you listen to it on Spotify, iHeartRadio, Deezer, Castbox, Podbean, all these platforms, man. There's a bunch now, right? But whichever one's your favorite, hey, give us a thumbs up. Throw some comments on there. You can even put comments on Spotify. Yes, you can. You can add comments to each one of our shows. If you have Spotify, you like listening to us there, throw us a comment there. It helps us help this podcast grow a little bit more and get the disclosure out to as many people as possible. All right, here we go. Let's go ahead and throw this out there now. Strand Podcast. I'm your host, Donald Desma. Welcome to today. We're going to an end of 2024. And we're coming to the beginning of 2025. So if you guys are celebrating today, hey, Happy New Year to you guys that's coming up. And hopefully you guys are being safe. It's going to be kind of crazy out there. So best advice I can give you guys, stay home, enjoy with family. If you do go out, have a few drinks, just make sure that you have a designated driver if possible. All right. I have a couple of things to talk about today real quick. I'm going to show you a video, a couple of photos as well as some in the ufology section, right? But I'm just letting you know that, of course, a lot of my stuff is on Patreon, not much live here going on here on Facebook. They seem to be, kind of, sometimes they're good, sometimes they're bad, depends on the situation. And I guess it depends what you're talking about, right? So go visit me on Patreon there, download it. You can get the free one or the $5 a month one. I do have one that's going to be coming out here pretty soon. Actually, I do have a past podcast I just put on. This was a live podcast that I did a few days ago, but I actually threw it on audio as well. So you can find this on audio. It's called Hush, Nothing to See Here. It's about the drones, everything. I gave you a lot of evidence there for you guys to decide. Thank you guys for watching today. I see that. Give me some thumbs up, some hearts if you're enjoying everything that I'm throwing out for you guys. I really appreciate it. And I just shared it in a bunch of groups as well here just a minute ago. So just to make sure that you guys are catching up to everything with ufology. Now, I got an upcoming podcast about this strange fog, right? So this is going to be coming up here maybe tomorrow. It's going to be on Patreon and for paid members only, all right? So you guys get to see this first, this podcast as it comes out. It's a recorded podcast, but I'm going to be talking about the fog. I'm going to dissect this down and give you some possibilities of what is actually happening. And there's just a lot of evidence coming out of this. I know it's recent, but there's a lot of strange things that are happening with this fog, and it's just too much. It's kind of crazy, but how are we gonna figure it out? Well, I'm gonna figure it out for you. So I'm gonna do all the hard work for you. All right. So catch it on Patreon. Thank you for following us on YouTube and Patreon. I appreciate it. Catch my book, of course, CE5. It's on Kindle, and you can actually get a hard copy as well if you go to the to the other one, the Patreon, you can actually buy it. I'll sign a copy for you, and you can download a digital copy for yourself as well. Don't forget to follow us at ASTP because there's no I in team. Of course, the middle films are out there. Go check these out. The middle one, the middle two is now on Fossum. So if you download it on your Roku, you can watch those for free, or, you got commercials, right? It's just, it is what it is. Unless you go to Amazon Prime, you get it there. You pay for it, you don't get no commercials, but I appreciate it. Like I said, I am working on part 4 as we speak today. All right. So I am going to be talking about this Dorothy Izatt, right? So I know I threw this out here a while back, and maybe about a week and a half ago, there was a small little snippet of her talking about her, because she's been doing ufology since the 1970s, right? Early, and she didn't realize she was doing ufology. That's the thing, right? And she was starting to communicate with these crafts up in the Ontario, Canada area, right? And since the early 1970s, she said that she had this funny feeling that something was watching her and telling her to go outside, right? This is her right there. Dorothy Izatt. I don't know if you saw her or saw the actual little thing that I had put out there, and I shared it on many, many groups. Only because I'm throwing this out there for you guys today, because she was one of the pioneers actually in the 1970s, and she had this like strange feeling that something was watching her, right? And they told her to go outside. So when she went outside, she saw this diamond-shaped UFO craft that was hovering there, right? And so she saw it for a few days, and then she was actually she went inside, got her flashlight, and pointed it to it, and went to the left, and the object moved to the left, and then she moved her flashlight to the right and moved to the right. It was mimicking everything that she was doing, right? So that's when she figured out, hey man, something's going on here. And she kept on getting some kind of telepathy of they wanted her to film them, right? She didn't know how to do it, nothing. So her husband at the time that was alive, she asked him, hey, you got that camera? Maybe I can borrow it. And he goes, yeah, just show me how to use it. And he did. And she started filming with 8mm film. Okay. This is very hard to do, especially back in the 1970s. So she's been doing this ever since then. She got they say about 250 feet or 2,000 feet of film of these actual entities and crafts that were hovering above her home, right? And she lives in an area where there's nothing but mountains. It's open area. There's a road, but it's on the other side. Anyway, so she, on one of her videos, she ended up getting this photo of these, because she says, can you show yourself to me? And this is what they did, right? They said, grab your camera, and she was able to get a zoomed image of the craft, right? It was a UFO. And she said, can you turn the light on? They turned the light on in the inside of the craft, and they end up getting this still out of her 8mm photo. And somebody cleaned it up a little bit, so you can kind of see a little face on there. And she said you could see them moving around and walking, right? So what have we been talking about this whole time about extraterrestrials, UFOs, things like that? These things do exist, right? And so I went and I don't know if you actually see, there's an actual documentary about her that they made in the early 1980s. It's called Capturing the Light, right? And I'm going to show you this real quick. This is the actual poster for it, right? So if you go look for it, it's called Capturing the Light. And when this came out, not too many people grabbed a hold of it, of what it actually was, right? And they were just trying to figure out, okay, is she true to what she's saying or anything? And I actually saw this, right? I saw this. What's up, Ryan? What's up, my brother? People are out there watching. Thank you for watching. My sister's watching right now. Yeah, there she is. Creepy photo. Yeah, it is. And the thing is with this documentary, you can find it on Amazon Prime, I believe, and different places where this documentary, I actually saw it on my computer yesterday. It's about 45 minutes to an hour long. And it skips around a little bit, but it gets to the point, right, where what she was actually recording and what she saw, right? And one of the main images that they didn't really focus too much was on this image, right, of the extraterrestrials. Why didn't they focus so much on it? And I just thought that they should have, right? But it's okay. This doesn't mean that at least she had it documented, right? And people didn't start actually going to her or realizing what she was doing until the 1980s, right? 1990s. That's when actually people were starting to notice who she was, right? This is the actual photos that came out of her book. She actually did a book as well. So the actual image that you're seeing here on the right, the big one, is the actual image before they clarified it, but you can still see eyes, nose, and the head, right? You can see the head is, it's a little, it looks like an extraterrestrial, what we're used to seeing. And these beings that are out there that actually are around her constantly, right? And there's many stories about her and the things that she did. And there was a gentleman that walked up to her one day and while she was at a store, she's a little small gentleman. And he just asked her because her name was Izatt. He says, "So is your name Egyptian?" And she's like, "No." And so he goes, "Oh, okay, it's just kind of a familiar name." And then he walks away. Well, later during the story, he starts finding out that as you read her book, that she was actually taken above these crafts, right? These UFOs, UAPs, let's call them, right? And these extraterrestrials, while she was sitting in this room, that gentleman was in that room with her, right? And she recognized him and other people as well. Haven't we heard something like similar to this? And believe me, or you or me, whatever, she was not out there in the ufology community. Nobody was really talking to her. She's out of Ontario, Canada, right? And so people weren't really grasping to her ideas of ufology, and she just wanted to show record everything and document everything for herself, right? So lo and behold, she finally gets the attention of what's his name, Hynek, right? So she gets the attention of Dr. Hynek, right? And for her to get his attention, he actually got her cameras. He told her, "What I want you to do, because people are going to scrutinize you and they're going to try to tear you down from everything that you're trying to do." So he told her, "I want you to record these UFOs and UAP crafts, not just with that one camera," because she said he grabbed my camera, he tore it completely apart, he put it back together because he wanted to make sure that there was no kind of, funny stuff going on in the background or maybe some images that wasn't correct, because her actually photos and videos got analyzed by many people, even at the time where it wasn't CGI, but people that were in the film industry looked at it and they said, "Man, we can't duplicate that," right? And so Dr. Hynek started telling her, "Hey, I want you to record everything, get yourself 2 more cameras." So she was recording on 3 cameras, mind you, right? These 8mm that you got to load film inside them. So she would grab one, put it down, grab another one, put it down, pick up another one and put it down, right? And she started grabbing those sort of images, right, that you started seeing that I showed you here a second ago, right? And, they're all kind of related to, these extraterrestrials that we're trying to see here, but they never harmed her in any sort of way, right? And silent listens out there, hey, Happy New Year. Thank you for watching right now. And the thing is, it's this story really intrigued me and it grabbed me, right? Because they showed a lot of things in there that people were trying to debunk and could not debunk it, right? All right, let's take a quick 5 minutes to pay the bills. We'll be back in just a minute.
Alien Strand Podcast.
All right, hope you guys are enjoying the show. Let's get back to it. And so when her story started coming out, I did not know of this woman, to tell you the truth. I ain't gonna lie to you. I did not know who she was or even if she had this kind of stuff, right? And, and then these images started coming out from her that I started researching her a little bit more. And then after I saw the documentary last night, I really was truly pulled in by it. I mean, it's an older documentary, so it's not like your Netflix style of documentaries. It's old school, man. I mean, if you watch some of the old things that are out there, right? And these extraterrestrials were actually, her son had a hard time believing her and everything, right? Until when you watch the actual documentary, you see her son, when they actually see the proof because they were interviewing her daughter, and there's craft behind her as she's in the kitchen that they didn't see at first until they went back and previewed the video. Then they went and sat the whole family down and showed the whole family. I mean, they were blown away of what they saw, right? And when you're going to see this, and I don't want to blow it for you if you haven't seen it, but she did an incredible thing. And, you know, the messages that these extraterrestrials were pretty much telling her was, hey, take care of the planet, take care of everything, because, you know, we are all connected. So anything that happens on Earth kind of sends a ripple effect. And, you know, I've thought about that. You know, I hear people talk about that and how the universe, how when something happens here, it affects everything, right? And this is basically what they were telling her. But they were telling her that there is the creator of the universe, the creator. They mentioned that to her. There's one creator, and it created everything, right? And this is what they believed, right? And this is what they told her, right? And so she was just trying to figure out why her. Well, you know, I've told you past podcast stories about people that are very kind and resonate with these extraterrestrials better than people that don't, right? So if you're one of those people that get attracted to UFOs, UAPs, extraterrestrials, or whatever, that means these things like who you are, right? And this is what they did with her. They liked exactly who she was, and they were able to get images of these extraterrestrials that were in these crafts, right? And I always talk about these things. You know, we see UFOs all the time, the UAPs, drones, spheres, everything that's out there. I always tell you, there's a pilot inside that craft. No matter how you think about it, something is operating these crafts, right? Something is, UAPs, all right? So this is what she caught, and it resonated with me after I watched this, right? Something opened up right here, right? Bam. And just said, hey man, you know, there's this stuff goes deeper than you think, right? And it does. It goes a lot deeper because there is a strong connection with people that have a lot of extraterrestrial visitations, and especially after Hynek went and made sure that everything she did and everything was authentic to him. Remember, he did Project Blue Book, and so there was a lot of things that weren't real, and there was a few things that he saw that was real. And he said whatever she had was truly authentic, all right, of everything that she had, of these extraterrestrials that we see daily, right? And there's going to be all different kinds out there as we know it, right? And what is the connection? I believe we are the connection, because they even told her we are the connection. We are all connected together. Right? So when you watch this film, Capturing the Light, I saw, you have to look for it because it's hard to find, and it is out there. I was able to find it last night because I like to my keyboard, and I did my research last night, and I was able to catch it and watch it on my computer. And I was really, the image quality is not very good, but it's okay. You still get the basic, you know, everything that's happening in the background, right? And speaking of Capturing the Light, right? So I'm going to show you this video here real quick. So there's this woman, I think she's out of Minnesota, and I love the way they talk, by the way. And she noticed for the past, I don't know, she said a week or two, that there's this orb that floats outside of her door. And she said, you know, I saw it floating out there, and I decided her Ring camera, whatever it was that she has out there, happened to be filming while she went out there. Now, mind you, when she went out there, she could not see the orb. The only way she could see this orb, because she said on camera she could see it inside, it's moving around and it's doing these things. And she actually went outside to go and see if she could see it, but she couldn't. But when it recorded her, it recorded this orb around her, and actually dancing around her and going from side to side, like even going through her. So I'm going to show you the video before I keep on rambling here for a second of what's happening now. This is in real time exactly what was happening to her. As you can see, she's standing there with her arms open because she says, you know what, I was trying to talk to it, and it's something inside of her told her to go outside. The same thing as Dorothy Izatt, right? So she goes outside, and it almost looks like she's looking at it, but she knows it's on that side. It's just she can't see it. She puts her hands out, and you're noticing this orb start going closer and closer. She says she has about, 20 of these videos of some sort. Now you can see it going behind her, so it's just around her, this orb that's there, right? Now, we talk about orbs and spheres, whether they're spiritual. I believe a lot of these orbs, too, can be spiritual because we've seen them. We've seen faces inside of these orbs as we zoom in. And as she was outside, this orb seems to be going around her, right? And kind of, dancing around her in a sense, too, wondering what she's doing. And it's, how do you explain this to people? I don't know, man. That's just a strange phenomenon there, because that's what it is, right? And it was able to resonate with her as well, right? Because something was telling her, even though she was seeing it on camera, she felt like she had to go outside and see if it would interact with her. And that's exactly what this thing did, right? It interacted with her. And, that's the strange thing about this, that video right there. And it grabs my attention every time and I held on to it for about a week now, but I didn't want to throw it out there right away because I wanted you guys to see exactly what happens to people when they interact with orbs. And there's sometimes you can't see them with the naked eye. Is this extraterrestrial? Possibly. I haven't found out if she's been seeing any UAP activity, any craft, or anything that's happening in her home. Now, that's probably the first thing that you would probably ask as well, right? And here at Alien Strand, I try to dig as deep as I could on this this video, but some things are made for us to see, some things are not, right? And we can't sometimes question things that are out there just for us to. It's mind-boggling, really, in reality, but. As spirits, maybe paranormal, this could be as well, because people from the other side, human beings, can manifest themselves into orbs or some sort of sphere. But as like I told you, this is not a physical sphere. In other words, an orb, you can't see it; it's just there, right? And this is what people need to understand. It's some things are not metaphysical, right? It's not going to be there for us to see. But when you think about it, what happens to us at night when we're asleep? Man, if I could be a fly on the wall, right, just to see what's going on, and if I could see things beyond my realm, well, maybe a lot of these things are just out there around us and making sure we're okay, right? All right, let's take a quick 5. We'll be back in just a minute.
Alien Strand Podcast.
All right, welcome back to the show. Let's go ahead and finish this show off. Hope you guys are enjoying this content. And maybe it's a relative. It could possibly be, right? And we can only be speculative at this point in time. But this is such a great video, and you couldn't explain it. I couldn't tell you any more about this video, but she does have hours and hours of this kind of footage, right, of this actual orb floating around there. And if it was a bee or a light bug, you would have seen it on her camera. It would act a little bit different. But this one actually starts, kind of going around her, right? And wondering what she's doing, things like that, right? So it's interacting. It's actually interacting. So whatever it is, it has some sort of consciousness. And that's what we need to understand, what these things are, because they do have consciousness. And it's just knowing of who we are, because we all resonate within the universe, within God, or whatever you want to call it. We all are connected, and this is how this is the best way to explain and just show you how we can be connected to spiritualism or things on the other side, or maybe something from the universe is just kind of telling us, hey man, we're here, right? And that's what we've been dealing with for quite a while now, as far as extraterrestrials, and of course we're always digging into how they look this way, right? And the kind of scary, spooky looking things, right? But as we just saw with Dorothy Izatt, hers is a little different. They almost have a humanistic looking face to them, right? And that's the strange thing about what she caught and how she interacted. I really highly recommend you watch that documentary, Capturing the Light. And it's not very long, so you're not going to sit there for 2-3 hours. It's just going to be like 45 minutes or so to maybe 50 minutes after credits. But you will get a lot of information on her and who she was. She passed away actually in the early 2000s, I believe. And so, she was able to, and I wish she still was alive. It'd be amazing to grab more information, but her stuff has been put away. And as far as there's the documentarians that did this have all her footage and have everything, right? So they're the ones that really have everything of hers, right? And maybe she gave it to them so that way they can be more open to show people. And they did. They tried to show people. The problem was, I don't think people were ready for it at the time. Remember, in the late 90s, early 2000s, because this was released, I think, in 2009 or something like that. People weren't ready for that yet. We were talking about, if you talked about aliens and UFOs, you were just a nut, and that's all it was. Crazy, right? And then when this documentary came out, it tried to show us, but we weren't listening yet. But I think we're listening today, and we should listen today. Whether you do it through this podcast or do any other podcasts out there, I believe you should. Thank you guys for watching today. I hope you guys enjoy this podcast. Give me some thumbs up. Give me some hearts out there, please. It just helps this go further than it goes, right? And this is all disclosure, really, in reality, if you look at it, even if it's from the past. It's disclosure and it's learning. And that's what we need to do here at Alien Strand Podcast. Thank you guys for watching on YouTube. Thank you for watching here on Facebook. Like I said, I will be having this other podcast for coming up here tomorrow. All right. So that's going to be for paid members for Patreon. They're going to hear it first. And then, we'll see what happens after that. Right. But I do that because, they're paying for it. And it's something that I believe, that this is going to stick with us all, right? Things that are happening now, even my past podcasts, man. Even my past podcasts. This one here. Even if you listen to it, it's still a great one because you get to hear everything that happened during the drones, New Jersey, everything. I break this down, and you can catch it on YouTube. It's there on YouTube right now. Go to our Alien Strand. You can find it there. Watch this. I highly recommend you watch this because everything is leading up to this next podcast. All right. Catch it on Patreon. Please go sign up. You can sign up for free as well. I'm going to have some new stuff. As a matter of fact, there's going to be a brand new download that I'm going to give to all members. So you got to sign up and be a member, even a free member. There's going to be a download for you there of something that just came out, and you need to have this in your possession. All right. If you are a ufologist out there and you want to know deeper, I'm going to have this for you guys to download. I'll let you know on this podcast tomorrow. It'll come out at the same time for you guys to download it. I really appreciate you guys for watching today. Thank you guys out there. Silent listen, thank you for watching. Jaja, thank you, that's my sis. Ryan, thank you for watching. Like I said, I hope you guys have a great new year. Be safe out there, and don't forget Alien Strand Podcast. We ain't going anywhere, man. We ain't going nowhere. All right, man, have yourselves a good day. We'll talk to you soon.
CE5 and extraterrestrial contact, download my new book, Now on Amazon, Barnes & Noble, Apple, and 14 other platforms. Book authored by Donald Ledesma. CE5, Frequencies of Contact.